Now that you have songwriters in your account, it's time to start adding your songs. First, you'll enter the song title and any alternate song titles. Your song may have alternate titles if you use contractions, numbers, or slang in your title, or if there are alternate versions out there. For example, if we were registering Nothing Compares to You, you see here, we would need to include the first spelling of the title with the original styling and the second version with the number word or words spelled out, as you see here. The next step is adding the songwriter information. You'll add your client songwriter or songwriters from the drop down menu, and you'll enter their share of the song and whether they wrote lyrics, music, or both. Add as many client writers as have shares of the song. If you realize at this stage that you need to add another client writer, just click on Add New Songtrust Writer, which will take you back to our Add Songwriter page. Next, you'll add your non-controlled or outside writers, assuming that there are any that need to be accounted for, by choosing them from the drop-down screen, entering their share of the song, and whether they wrote lyrics, music, or both. Add as many non-controlled writers as have shares of the song. If you realize at this stage that you need to add an additional outside writer, just click on Add New Outside Co-Writer, which will take you back to our Add Songwriter page. It's important that you include as much information as you have about your non-controlled outside writers, but if you're truly unable to find any details, you can add unknown writer to cover any share you don't have information for. To do this, click on Add New Outside Writer, leave the email information blank, type in writer unknown in the first and last name fields. Under PRO, you can select I don't know. IPI information just needs to be left blank, and you don't need to select anything for do they have a publisher. Click on Add New Songwriter, and you'll see this text appear that says, Are you sure you don't know your co-writer's IPI number? In this case, we don't. You can continue on by clicking Add New Songwriter to complete the step. And there you have it, unknown writer as a placeholder. Once you have all the songwriters, you'll see that the shares equal 100% once you've entered in the writers in question that you're trying to submit for. So in a circumstance where, let's say, Amanda Aubrey is being credited with 50% of a track, and this unknown writer that we just added is going to be credited with the remaining 50%, both lyrics and music for each songwriter's contribution per piece. Enter in 50%, this will turn green and you can continue on with your next step. Next, you'll add an ISWC if you have one. For those that are unfamiliar, ISWC stands for International Standard Work Code and is a unique identifier for every composition. Do not confuse this with an ISRC, which is a unique identifier for a specific recording. We'll deal with those later, and they're very much necessary. ISWCs are assigned by your PRO. So if you've registered your song previously with your PRO and don't have an ISWC, add it here, as it's best to have as much information as possible when you send your song out. But if you don't have it or you're unable to locate it, it's optional and you shouldn't be overly concerned. Next, add your lyrics. Again, this is optional as well, but it's always best to include as much information as possible when you're registering your song. The next step is to check this box if the song you're adding is an arrangement of a public domain song, as you see here. This is very unlikely. But if the song you're adding is an arrangement of a public domain song, like a dubstep version of Twinkle Twinkle Star as an example, or a Mozart or Beethoven piece, you check yes. Public domain arrangements are paid differently than original compositions. Note, the law is very specific about what is in public domain and what is not. Do not register an arrangement of a song with us unless you are 100% sure it's in the public domain. If you register an arrangement of a song that still has an active copyright, that is infringement and we will act accordingly. Wait, what if you have a bunch of songs with the same collaborators? The good news is you don't have to add the same information over and over again. You can copy the song splits from another song up here and just type in the first letter, select it, and you'll be good to go. Once you've entered in all the song information, you'll click register a song, but you're not done yet. as you see here with this text that will appear. You'll need to enter in your ISRC, which stands for International Standard Recording Code, and is used to identify specific recordings of a song. Say you've written a song and released an album version, a radio edit, and a live version. Each of these would have its own ISRC because each of them is a different recording. When you click on Add Recording, you'll be taken to this page, as you see here, which automatically searches for the song using our tool, which is powered by Spotify's Song Database. When you find the recording that is yours, click the plus sign to add it to the song in your account. And if there are multiple recordings of the song, you can add them all here. So Nothing Compares to You. As you see, this is a song written by, the original version was written by Prince, made famous by Sinead O'Connor. Click on Add Recording to add Sinead's version. Click on Add Recording to add the Prince version, and you can continue all the way down the list. There's another Prince version here. Select that. This is Chris Cornell's version. Click that. The point is that you want to grab as many unique recordings as possible so that we're maximizing revenue collection for whatever title in question you happen to be submitting through our dashboard. There are very few instances in which you add a song without an ISRC. For example, if it's a piece of score written for a TV or movie that hasn't been released anywhere for streaming or purchase, that may not have an ISRC. But generally, these are quite rare. And if ISRCs exist for a song, we need them to collect all of your royalties.